Hello again, everybody! Zagatek is here with my UFC on Fox review for the Saturday night, December the 14th, 2013. I haven't been able to see a UFC on Fox because of my gig schedule, so I'm able to watch this UFC on Fox, and I'll give you my thoughts on the card, plus on the current situation with the UFC Welterweight Championship that just came out a few hours ago. But my thoughts on this card on Fox, I call it a night of great finishes, but not great fights. Our four main fight cards, two fights ended in terrific finishes, a great submission and a terrific knockout in our championship main event. But the other two fights, I call it decent action, but not much excitement in the four main fight cards. There was an okay main card. The prelims, from what I saw, were very good, especially one epic fight, which I think could be fight of the night. There was many good fights in the prelims. I didn't see all the prelim fights. There was one fight that really stuck out in the prelims that I saw, which was Edson Barboza against Danny Castillo. Great fight. Great three-rounder. Barboza with the nasty leg kicks, man. He was devastating with those leg kicks. And even Danny Castillo, he had a great fury in the first round. He had a great first round, almost getting into the knockout. It was a great series of events in the first round, but then Barboza came flying back in the second round with those Thursday leg kicks. That's when they really hit in. And then, third, it was a stalemate, but Edson Barboza won that fight. I just want to mention that prelim. I usually don't review the prelim fights, but I did see one prelim fight, and it was just a very excellent fight. Edson Barboza and Danny Castillo could be a prelim, could be a contender for Fight of the Night honors, especially since the main card didn't offer anything of great fights. It was just great finishes. And we would begin our main card. And I'm not rating this. I usually rate matches on a pay-per-view, but that's all I like. When it comes to UFCs, pay-per-views, and wrestling pay-per-views, I only rate matches on a pay-per-view, not on television. So we got the first fight on the main card, Joe Lauzon against Mac Danzig. I missed a lot of this fight. I didn't see a lot of it. Before I saw Lauzon, he had some okay takedowns in the first couple rounds. From what I saw, it was an okay little opener from what I saw in Lauzon kind of taking down Danzig. I think Danzig, I did like his trunks. The not for sale, I did like that concept of not having any sponsors. That was kind of a funny little thing. And from what I saw, I think Lauzon was more the aggressor. He did the takedowns. He did some okay submission attempts and okay striking for Mr. Lauzon. And I like Lauzon. I've seen both these guys in action. I was at a UFC once in Detroit, and Lauzon was on the card. He was against George Soteropoulos, the Australian dude. Whatever happened to him? Where has he been lately? But Lauzon got the win in this fight. I think he lost against Soteropoulos in a great fight in Detroit. But Lauzon won this fight against Mac Danzig in unanimous decision in an okay opener. Decent action, not much excitement though. Same can be said for our second fight. First fight was in the lightweight division. Second fight in the featherweight division. We had Nick Lentz taking on Chad Mendes. Now Chad Mendes is a guy who's supposed to be the so-called #1 contender for the featherweight championship currently held by Mr. Jose Aldo. But Mendes did not put an impressive performance tonight. He had a great fury in the beginning. He had an almost quick knockout finish of Nick Lentz in the early seconds of the first round. But after he got kicked by Lentz, he kind of took it easy with the takedowns and not doing much striking. What we learned later on was Mendes had a virus. He had a sinus infection. So he had trouble breathing. So after that first initial fury, he was already gassed out after that first fury in the first round with that almost quick knockout of Lentz. So he took it easy. He basically, instead of his dominance like many of his other fights, like all the announcers are saying, he wasn't putting a dominant performance. He had a great finish in the third round, though. He had a great view in the third round, but it just squeaked by just by survival. That was his game plan. Instead of his usual plan of dominance, it was a message. It was just a strategy for survival. He didn't want to let down his fans by forfeiting the fight. We already had a big fight forfeited from this card. Matt Brown injuring himself, preventing the fight from him to take place against Carlos Condit. That fight never happened. because Matt Park got injured. So, Mendez squeaked by with a unanimous decision. It was a decent action. A lot of takedowns from Mendez, but not much excitement in the action when it comes to that. Especially if now that we found out that Mendez was suffering from an ailment. But at least, I'll give him credit for survival, but he wasn't as dominant as he usually is. But at least we know he didn't fake an excuse. He had somewhat of an excuse for his lackluster performance tonight. It could maybe enough for the number one contendership, but who knows? Speed of could be number one contender. On with a match that could spell number one contender for the Bantamweight Championship. Uriah Faber. Of course, this is in Sacramento tonight. A lot of people cheered on Mendez, the California boy. Everybody, anti-California, specifically Sacramento guys, got booed. The opponent for Mr. Faber's fight, Michael McDonald, was from nearby California, but Sacramento fans love Uriah Faber, the California kid. And the first round, kind of a slow first round. You know, not much excitement going on that first round. I did some things. But the second round was, of course, the round that sealed the deal. That sealed the victory. For Mr. Faber, coming in, the second round was okay. Second round to start with, but when Uriah Faber nailed that big right hand McDonald, that was the seal. That was the punch that sealed the fate for McDonald. After that one big punch, Uriah just nailed on him. Just punched the heart of him until he dragged him down to the ground, pummeling him down, then setting him up for a guillotine choke in the victory in the second round via guillotine choke. A choke, they call him a member of Team Guillotine. When a leader of Team Guillotine got the victory. And in my mind, that could be a lead, probably a shoo-in for submission of the night for Mr. Uriah Faber. Now, on with our main event match. For the Flyweight Championship, Demetrius Johnson defending his title in a rematch against Joseph Benavidez. Well, on UFC on Fox, I remember the first UFC on Fox. They only had one fight in the first UFC on Fox 2 years ago. That was Junior Dos Santos against Cain Velasquez. Only one card. They hyped it all up for 20 minutes. And they finally had the fight between Dos Santos and Velasquez. First round knockout within 30 seconds. Victory for Junior Dos Santos. All that hype for nothing. Just a quick one round knockout. You could say the exact same thing for this fight. For this main event fight. They hyped it all up. This Benavidez Johnson fight. They hyped it all up. First round knockout. A killer knockout in the first round from Demetrius Johnson. Of course, they were eyeing each other for the first couple of seconds. Benavidez, once again, the California guy. You know, he's teammate to Uriah Faber, so he got the big cheers. Johnson got booed because, of course, anti-California guys get booed here. And Benavidez tried to fight. He tried to get some okay offense in. But once he was up against in the corner, and when Johnson set up that big one punch, bang, he got knocked. I call knockouts like Johnson did a KTFO. It wasn't a KO, it was a KTFO. Knocked the funk out. That's what happened to Benavidez. Just one punch, boom, he was out fucking instantly. And Benavidez loses a second shot to get the Flyweight Championship as Demetrius Johnson retains in a great knockout. That's what I'm saying. The last two fights, the co-main event in Maine, had great finishes. With Uriah Faber with a great submission and a great knockout from Demetrius Johnson in the main event. The fights were not memorable, but more memorable moments than fights besides that prelim fight that I talked about. Of course, the next UFC pay-per-view is UFC 168 coming up as Anderson Silva tries to regain his middleweight championship against Chris Weidman. And of course, we have Miesha Tate against the reigning Bantamweight Women's Champion, Rowdy Ronda Rousey, both rematches. Now, before I end this little review video, I got a comment about the news. I didn't know this. Like, it's been hinted for weeks since the last UFC pay-per-view, UFC 167, about GSP calling it quits, or at least going on hiatus. And I've heard rumors. I didn't really know about it until after the fact, because I made my UFC 167 review especially of that great fight against GSP and Johnny Hendricks. And Hendricks, in many people's minds, should be the welterweight champion. Great close fight against GSP, but if you didn't see my review for UFC 167 on this channel, I said GSP squeaked by because he was never in any danger of losing, despite being pummeled in the fight. And even GSP said it in the post-fight interview. I didn't catch that post-fight interview. I usually leave after the final result. I don't stay around for the post-fight interview. I didn't hear the post-match interview because I said instant rematch in my mind. I thought that was guaranteed until I found out and read later that GSP said in his post-match interview he wanted to leave the sport for a while, then he wanted to go on hiatus. There's been rumors about him forfeiting the belt, and that's exactly what happened. I didn't know that until tonight. They had like a little scrolling thing on the bottom of the screen with all the list of champions. I noticed when I looked at welterweight champion of who the welterweight champion is, it said vacant next to it. I was like, ooh, GSP forfeit the title, which he did. GSP is probably one of the biggest draws in UFC going on. You know, they lost, like Lesnar was a big draw too, till he left. And GSP and Silva are the two big go-getters when it comes to guaranteed pay-per-view draws. GSP is just a big name in UFC, and for a big name like that to go away from the sport for a while, with him forfeiting his belt during a conference call, it's huge. Because especially when he's in Canada, he sells it out. No matter where in Canada they have a pay-per-view with him at, whether it's Montreal, Toronto, especially UFC 129 in Toronto 2 years ago at the Skydome. Actually, last year in Toronto. So, we'll see what happens with GSP. He didn't say anything about when he's going to come back or if he's going to come back. But he said he wants to take a break from UFC. The pressures of being a champion got to him. And it's taking its toll on his body and health and mind. He wants to take a mental and physical break from UFC for a while. That means he's forfeiting the championship. I'm hearing that Johnny Hendricks will guarantee a match to crown the new champion against Robbie Lawler at UFC 171 in March. And I hope Hendricks does win. I like GSP, but I think Hendricks in many people's minds should have won the championship. And I thought he was going to get an instant rematch, but at least, hey, if GSP is not going to give an instant rematch to Johnny Hendricks and forfeits the title, at least the best UFC can do is put Hendricks in the match to crown a new champion, which is exactly what they're doing. So, good move on UFC's part to put Hendricks in the new championship match to crown a new featherweight champ, wrong division, to crown a new welterweight champion against Robbie Lawler. So, go Hendricks. And there you go. UFC Fight Night review and my thoughts on the GSP situation. Thank you all very much for watching. That is it. With that in mind, you've all been attacked by the review from Zach. Once again, thanks for watching. See you all later, everybody. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, especially if you live in Michigan or anyplace else that's got big snowfall right now. So stay warm, everybody, especially in Michigan or anywhere there's snow. Yeah.